we've already addressed the murder issue. We agree with that. Aggravated assault should merge into the malice murder count based on the way that the indictment reads. So the court will only be sentencing on count 1, count 4, as well as count 5. The court knows you can sentence her to a minimum of life as to count 1, or a maximum of life without the possibility of parole. The court can also run consecutive to either one of those sentences, a maximum of 15 years. We will be asking the court to, as to count 1, sentence Ms. Farris to life with the possibility of parole. As to count 4, 10 years concurrent, and as to count 5 years concurrent, both to count 1. Looking at the Department of Corrections inmate population, which apparently is readily available online, you can see that once a person gets over the age of 65, their presence in the prison system dwindles dramatically. Melody is currently 63 years old. Any sentence really that this court gives, if it gives her life with the possibility of parole, with the current restrictions on parole eligibility being at 30 years for this sentence, is essentially a death sentence for Ms. Farris. Before even being eligible and not guaranteed parole after 30 years, that would make her 93 years old before she's eligible for parole. And looking at the female population of the current Department of Corrections, there are currently, at her age, only 11 females currently in custody in the state of Georgia. If you go 10 years from that, you get to 74. There is 1, and there are no females older than 74 currently housed within the Department of Corrections. Based on that, Judge, and the facts of the case, as the court heard them, there's a reason for this to be a trial and to be such a long trial. I think that there was some doubt, especially with the jury stating that at one point they weren't hung and they coming back with a verdict. And we respect the jury's verdict, although we do not agree with it. So for those reasons, her age, her lack of criminal history, which the court has heard hundreds of times during all the bond hearings and that we had over the years, of which she had no history, that the appropriate sentence in this case would be the court to sentence her to life on count 1, with counts 4 and 5 and 10 to run concurrent. At least that will give her some possibility of being parole eligible at some point in the future.
All right.
Judge, a jury has already convicted Melody Farris of all of the crimes in this indictment. They did not find doubt in this case. They did not see the holes. They saw the picture as clearly as Mr. Fogus, Sergeant Hayes, and I did, and the family. I want to start by talking about the aggravation in this case. I think it's pretty clear the jury convicted her of concealment. And within that concealment, the facts were that she burned his body to 33 pounds of a 300-pound man. And the facts in this case also made it clear that she wanted him found. She watched Amanda and Scott both walk by the burn pile. Amanda even tossed something in there, waiting for someone to find his remains, because she is not stupid. She knew a body needed to be found. So she pointed out to Scott, strategically, her child. She made her children find this body. Their father burned up in a burn pile. The granddaughters were on the property looking for him. The fact that she used the children and Lake Lanier as an attempted alibi, it's deplorable. When you think about her statements to Rusty Barton, when she states that body should not have been burned up, she wanted her children to find their father. I say all this to say that the way Gary Farris was rolled out after being shot by his wife of 38 years to a burn pile on his own property, disposed of like trash, when he had just been blessed with a third granddaughter 6 months before, and now he will never meet the future grandchildren. He was robbed of a life as a grandfather, a father to his adult children to help them navigate the difficulties of life. That was supposed to be his best stage of life. Being a grandparent. And Judge, I just want to point out under 171030, which does not apply to this case, but a defendant has a depravity of mind who mutilates or seriously disfigures a victim's body after death may have been found to have a depraved mind. That's clear in this case. Melody Farris has a depraved mind. That's aggravation. And then throughout the investigation and the trial, continues to blame her children for this death, for this murder of their father and the grandfather of their grandchildren. She tainted and tarnished her children's relationships not only with each other, but tried to drag their relationships with their father through the mud when they had nothing but love and respect for him. She successfully divided her family, isolating Amanda, and it's all for her own selfish motive. All of this. The motive evidence in this case was overwhelming. Blaming her own sons for a murder she committed is unthinkable as a mom and just as human. This sentence should not reflect the defendant where she is in life because she chose to commit this crime at that time. She chose to commit this crime 6 months after Olivia was born. But it should reflect the life that was lost and the way it was lost, the manner in which it was lost. At her hands,